reaction and topic stream here with you will make it TV. Uh, we appreciate your support. Happy early Thanksgiving. In case we are not able to share any content during the holiday, and Merry Christmas. I know I'm giving wishing these happy thoughts to you all a little early, but early is better than never, okay? If you're new to our channel, welcome. You are invited, encouraged to not only hit the like button, but become a subscriber yourself today. This way, you're notified of any new stream topics or content that we post, especially in our inspirational quote section of our channel. So, we want you to be able to access that and tune in weekly, okay? I'm Arthur Tedasheri Whitney. We're happy to have you here. I don't just share my thoughts and commentary and reactions here on YouTube. For those that are interested, I am an author. You can check out some of my reads, previously published books at or on the Amazon Kindle platform in 2025. One titled God Save the Queen, the other Black Blood. We got The Power of No, The Shoes She Walked In, and more books coming soon, okay? I just more dedicate this channel to another side, I guess, the lighter side, because being an author will open up many doors for you, just being a writer in general. But I just thought I would give that insight. I think a lot of people think I just do like podcast, audio recording type work, but I also am a writer too. I content. So we thank God for platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and other platforms that help make it possible for us to share our gifts and talents with the world. If you're a content creator out there yourself today, shout out to you. We try to support as many creators as we can because in this new generation, this new time, we know that social media platforms wasn't always a tool or a way that gifted people could show their talents on the internet. So shout out to all you content creators out there. I'm back today just to give my reaction to a few stories that have been circulating and going viral here, not only in the news but on social media as well. And at first, I didn't understand what was going on until I started to look into these stories myself, and I learned that both of these awful tragedies had transpired in the same place, right there in the heart of Chicago. And that's probably why I sound a little more humble or mellow. I mean, you don't have to know these people, you don't have to know these communities. You could have not traveled there at all and still feel their pain from so many miles away. Yes, so um I don't care how many miles away I am though. If it's somebody's child, you just feel that pain, man. If it's somebody's mother, you feel that pain, especially when you're a mother yourself. And then that other story. So I want to talk about the one about what happened on the train because that's more recent. The one about the mother being jumped, her and her son being jumped by the kids is a recent story too. But here is another one that transpired while we still trying to get over what happened to the mother and her son getting jumped by the kids. It's just crazy. So apparently this woman gets into an argument with a man on the bus and he decides to set her on fire. You cannot sit here and tell me this stuff is normal. I'll be back with my commentary and reaction in 1 second. Okay, so it's like, because the news stories I'm seeing about it so far, I guess the lady did end up arguing with the man on the bus. But that's the thing about me. When I'm out in public, what I refuse to do is argue with a person that I don't know. Type amen in the chat if you agree. Even if you don't agree, let me shed a little light on why I feel this way. You know what I'm saying? First of all, it's just immature. Like you can never do something so serious, and it just seemed like that's people's goals today. Like, though I'm a stranger, let me see how I can get a reaction out of you. Cause some of us see what they lead to before these Chicago stories were circulating recently. You already see what that leads to. Like what? It doesn't make any logical sense to me to be in a public setting arguing with a stranger. I mean, I can understand if you're at a protest, because most protests are like public settings too. A protest, that seems like a more sensible place to maybe argue your opinions and about justices and what's right and equal rights. Just you outside living your everyday life trying to take care of business in public because that's what normal people in society do. You should never catch yourself arguing with a stranger. Most people, when they get on the bus, their goal to get on the bus, the taxi, the Uber, or even in their cars is not to argue with somebody. And this is just my encouragement from You Will Make It TV. I said this on another stream because you got a lot of road rage drivers out there that cause issues in society too. If you know you're angry, please just keep your butts at home. Just stay at home. Because why are you bringing your anger into public places like the blue train in Chicago? You angry that day. You jump your butt on the bus. You're a grown man, but you end up setting a grown woman on fire. I'm just lost for words. But really, God told me them moments you're lost for words is the time you need to speak. Don't even ask me how that's possible. When I'm lost for words, it's the perfect time to speak. You lost for words out of emotion, but when you remove those emotions, you have a lot to say. Any one of us. You know what I mean? So that's my first reaction to this story. Why do people even leave the house knowing that they're full of anger? Well, it's understandable if you need to leave the house and get a breath of fresh air, but don't go out there taking it out on innocent people who might be minding their business in public too. But if you already make up in your mind, I don't care who feeling what today, they can't get me to argue with them. You know, people be angry about that, but it's more people need to be in therapy, and it's showing. It's just showing. Like, apparently the people y'all have in therapy are the wrong ones. And the ones that don't have anybody to talk to, it's showing. It's showing. Because how do you go from a slight argument on the bus with a woman to setting her on fire? How? How are people able to bring these type of tools and weapons on the city bus? Shout out to other states across the nation who have already buckled down and created like special units, you know what I'm saying, just for the transit systems, the trains, the buses. They have like a police, you know what I'm saying, police groups specially assigned to these public transportations now. Y'all probably think it don't matter, but let me tell you why it matters. Do you know how many people a day use public transportation just to go to work? That same place y'all say people need to go? NEED. You claim in the news and out here in the public that you need to see people going to work. Did you know people were going through this? This lady was minding her business on set on fire. From what I seen the update from the story at this time, the judge has asked that this man remain detained while she's in hospitalization right now. And I think the judge made a very wise decision. You know what I'm saying? Why let a man like that back on the streets right now? If he'll set a stranger on fire, imagine to what he'll do to somebody he know, whoever the man is. And because, you know, being set on fire, that's not no temporary damage like you break a leg and you can put a cast on and it heals again. You set somebody on fire, you're doing like lifelong permanent damage to that person. Now, and that's not even the emotional and mental effects that person might be having. Thank you guys for tuning in so far. I'm going to be on for an hour live stream real quick, just giving my reaction and commentary to both of these stories. Real, raw stories. Okay? You know something is wrong when you can't even ride public transportation no more, and you don't know if you're going to come home safe. But they want to call you PTSD and paranoid if you don't even want to mess with the public at all no more. Come on now, no, those are the smarter people. Everybody not gonna wait on you to order a stay-at-home order before they feel like that's wise to do. You know what I'm saying? It's okay when they mandate it. Everybody stay home. It's dangerous outside. COVID-19. Okay, even if COVID-19 is not the reason. I bet you a lot of us could think of 10 long reasons right now that it's a safer option just to stay at home these days. It's crazy. But what can you get done just staying home? You'll be surprised. If you begin to shift your reality as in, well, let me go ahead and do as much as I can do at home because public places seem so dangerous now. What's wrong with that? Just because you didn't come on the news and tell us to stay home this time doesn't mean we're the weirdos for staying home. And it helps you to see more. The more people you have staying home, you can see who the real problems are in public because you got more people staying home, whether they're working from home, schooling from home, chilling at home, partying at home, cooking at home. I could go on and on. Do it at home. Painting your nails at home, getting your hair done at home, not going to the movie theaters, watching a movie at home. I can keep going. But see, the more you live your life at home, the more a person can try to criticize and judge what it is you do at home, which exposes to me that you're watching a person at their home. You shouldn't be worried about what a person do at their home. And you know if they doing that around people's homes, imagine how public places are now. Because you're not even in the privacy of your home when you go out in public. You're out in public. You can't ride the bus without getting set on fire. And this is not the first story we heard, not just out of Chicago, but lately in general. People being in public, that's exactly where they were injected with something. That's exactly where they were punched by a whole stranger. That's exactly where they were jumped, in public. Where are the public forces when these things are going down? And another thing I didn't understand was, didn't they just deploy the National Guard? I'm sorry, y'all, sorry. I had a burp out of nowhere. Didn't they just deploy the National Guard out there to help keep that place safe? So now I'm just really, really stunned and I'm lost for words at how some of these things even happen. Oh my God. See how I'm trying to make it make sense. If you're at home, it used to be a time that people considered that that's the safest place you could be. It should be. You paying rent there. How much people rent is these days? They ought to be partying every day in their house and nobody should be saying anything about it. Somebody once asked me, Miss Whitney, why are you celebrating at your house all the time? Because every month that I get through another tragedy or fight another person who wanted to see me homeless by staying in my home when I could have been outside, that's a reason to celebrate. I don't have to have a reason that you agree with why I can have a cup of wine and celebrate. As long as I still got my home, I should celebrate that every day in that home. Who got a problem with it? As a matter of fact, every time we see a person with a new home, a new apartment, a new condo, I wouldn't care if it's a tiny home. The whole block should be celebrating, as bad as homelessness is right now. Now, I'm not saying throw a party so big that you get put out of the home. Of course not. But people will sit there and hate on a quiet party too. Let them see a few balloons, streamers. See you go pick up a bottle of wine. They waiting, itching, ready to disturb your happiness. They got mad because not everybody is sitting around explaining themselves about why they're celebrating anymore. If you ask me, no, they're not. Now, I intentionally black out the screen when I do my audio reaction commentaries here on YouTube on purpose. Any other extra footage, any other extra footage people claim they have about me when I'm trying to literally work, that's what I'm talking about. That lady on the train was probably trying to go to work. You got people out here being literally sabotaged and abused and attacked, trying to work, but then you in the background talking about people need to go to work. Make it make sense. I wouldn't care if you're a carpenter, a carpet cleaner, a painter, a shoe designer. Work is work. I wouldn't, and some people, they just pick up cans every day because they're homeless. But guess what? If they collect enough cans, They can go cash them in for money. How is that not work? They're not robbing anybody. Anybody you see sitting there minding their business, oh, they're never a problem. And most people on city buses, city transit, anything, city buses, trains, they're minding their business. I said it's getting exposed real fast who the energy vampires are. Just look at the people minding their business and look at the people who just can't contain themselves without bothering somebody every day. And you're making that be the masses problem. You're leaving that on the regular citizens, hard-working citizens to deal with. The non-working class. Another thing I noticed. Another thing I noticed was what was I finna say? Oh yeah, what did they expect? You seen both of these stories just happen in the past week out of Chicago. The mother who was jumped, her and her son, her school-age son that was jumped by a group of kids, and the other story of a lady who was set on fire on the train. Both of them was in Chicago, right? What I noticed is both of these stories happen in the same month. They claim food stamps is cut off and then cut back on. And this is just the beginning, y'all. Like, this is sad. You already knew it was low income communities out there when you cut the food stamps off. Now, I'm not trying to make an excuse for the kids that jumped the mother and her son, but so you saying it's the kids' fault that the food stamps was cut off nationwide? It is real funny the timing of these stories. Like, it's meant to show us real quick the type of things we can expect to look forward to, especially in low income and impoverished communities, when you try to force people to function without any type of assistance at all. Now, we didn't say the assistance has to continue coming from the taxpayers. I mean, if the taxpayers have a problem with assistance, that's fine. But see, those city buses and stuff like that, I don't know why taxpayers didn't know, but those things exist because of their taxes too. And those things are the very transportations that help people get to work every day. It's so sad. You don't want to be a taxpayer? Stop working so there's no money to take out of your taxes, out of your paycheck. Of course, I'm talking rhetorically, but people should keep their jobs. But if your whole life of working, all you thinking about is the people that are receiving assistance because you're a working taxpayer, you're focused on the wrong thing. But then you want to speak on stories when a pregnant mother, might I add, and her school age son gets jumped by children. Now everybody wants to be outraged. You should have seen this same type of outrage when they were threatening to cut off EBT benefits. Because we know that kids eat off of that. Kids and pregnant mothers, they use EBT a lot. Not all of them, but I'm just saying. But nobody had a problem with seeing this stuff shut off. But now you got a problem hearing a pregnant mother was jumped by children. I'm just saying, like, make this make sense. The more they try to cover up things, the more they shall be exposed. No matter who doesn't like what I said, it's the truth. Because we're just in that time in history. There's too many advancements in society by this point for people to still be acting animalistic. There's just too much organization, too much civilization, too much order, too much what is the other word I was looking for? Advancements for people to still be acting like we're in the jungle as cavemen. That's crazy. A homeless person can get access to a fire or fire tools to set a person on fire, a working person on fire on the bus. This is worse than what Rosa Parks went through. She just wanted to sit where she needed to sit on the bus. With this story, this lady was probably minding her business. Then you end up arguing, trying to defend yourself by a whole stranger on the bus, and then you're set on fire. How is that not worse than what Rosa Parks went through? Maybe I shouldn't compare the two, but I compare the two because Rosa Parks was a woman. It shouldn't matter what color she was, but back then it did. As a matter of fact, today, some people are still making that a factor with women. It's hard enough being a woman. You think some man cares what race you are? A man is going to look at you as a woman. He could care less what race you are. At the end of the day, a man is going to look at you like a woman. If you're a single woman, it don't matter what race you are. You're a single mother with kids. Either way, you're a woman. I touched on that because I can notice how it just seems to be a very bad undercover sex war going on. A lot of people think it's about race, but I don't think it's a race war. It's a sex war. Maybe it's a sex war that like I said, I'll never condone something like a whole sex war, but maybe the universe is. Because why do you have so many men coming for women like never before in such an advanced civilization, in such a modern day time? Why would you even see that going on? Because that man that burnt that woman on the bus and caught her on fire, he was a man and she was a woman. As a matter of fact, I think they should get to the bottom of a lot of more of these investigations and make sure that hate was not the inspiration. It seems silly, don't it? But don't worry, there's laws that protect us from hate crimes. There's laws that give us rights to defend ourselves against what you call a hate crime. Because every day we go outside, a man can control that there's going to be women out there, and a woman can control that there's going to be men out there. And it don't mean you're going to know all of them. And it doesn't mean you should be trying to get to know all of them. What you mean I got to have a million connections just to be safe? Since when did the country become this? It's weird. They want to make it about this habit and that habit and what you do and what you don't do. But when you really get to the nitty gritty of some of these stories, you sure hate wasn't on the other side. See, the devil thought he could sneak crimes in against people literally inspired by hate and hide that part. No, hate usually is the inspiration. You don't just set a woman on fire randomly that you didn't know. You already had to have something in your heart against women to attack a stranger woman with fire. You already had something in your heart against women then. Or those kids that jumped that pregnant woman and her son, it had to be some hate there long before that even happened. I'm telling you, they're called hate crimes. Now, some people's viral opinions is that the parents and the kids should be arrested. I'm not going to say I disagree. What I am going to say is who should be arrested for teaching hate then to begin with? HATE. Because hate crimes are real. You can teach your kids to keep their hands to themselves all day long, but if you're not teaching them the difference between love and hate, what are you really teaching them? In other words, you got a lot of kids running around here thinking as long as they hate somebody, they got a right to attack them any which way they want to. And it's bad for the next generation coming up. That's very bad. That you have nobody in a right mind to teach the people the difference between love and hate like we used to. Oh, okay. Because guess what? The politicians, that's not really their job. Their job is to set the laws and arrest the people who break them. The love and hate side of things is going to be more of our responsibility. We, the people. Because guess what? They said, we, the people, have a right to pursue happiness. What's funny is the more people I see pursuing happiness, the more people I'm seeing attacked. But they didn't think that there would be penalties on the other side of that. And I think that's funny. It's really not funny. I just find it funny, you know. Literally, that's literally a constitutional right for you to pursue happiness. That means if you don't pursue it, it's your own fault you're not happy. So how dare you spy on somebody's house and hate on them for being happy when it's a constitutional right in this country? You feel me? And then you feel like you have the right and the freedom to attack that person for. I don't want to call the Constitution a joke. That's why I actually do my best to use my right to be happy every day. Now, what makes me happy might not make you happy. I'm a woman to begin with. Fingernail polish and pink furry things make women happy. Of course, you got a lot of men. It's kind of scary. You should have kind of idea of what make women happy. But if you're not a woman, how do you truly know what makes a woman happy? Because every woman is different. What makes the next woman happy might not make me happy, but there might be some things that make both of us happy because we're both women, right? You don't have a team of women getting together trying to attack the happiness of men. So I was wondering, why are we seeing this become more prevalent when it comes to women? It's a really interesting topic. Y'all thought I was gonna come on here and talk about how wrong it is that that woman and her child was attacked. We all know it was wrong. I'm talking about the foundation of the wrongness here. She had a right to pursue her happiness. She's pregnant. Obviously, she was happy to keep the baby. Anyways, why would a group of kids find it okay to attack a pregnant woman? Somebody said, "Oh, they failed their kids." Oh, so because your child ain't attacked a pregnant person yet, you ain't failed your kids. Everybody in Chicago failed their kids. And they've been talking about Chicago for so long now, and now everybody want to shed tears and start. It's just annoying, bro. It's annoying as hell. That shit is annoying, bro. When people have been crying out for help out there, some of them been barely made it out the trenches out there. And it take a whole pregnant woman being hurt for people to pay more attention. That's crazy. That's crazy. That just kind of shows the lawlessness and how much worse it's getting. If even the kids feel like they can do what they want to and ain't nobody gonna touch them, ain't nobody gonna do shit to them, ain't no discipline on the other side. And that's what I was wondering. Where is the mayor and what does he think about all of this? You notice these cities that's been exposed for horrific crimes, the mayors be quiet as crickets. Cause what are they busy doing? What are you busy doing when pregnant women can't walk down the streets no more without being attacked? Not just by other adults, but by children. It's crazy. I had saw some of the details of that story, and it said that the woman whose kids had attacked that lady had already been put out of the apartments weeks or months prior. But y'all know how it is. People get evicted every day, and that's been a problem. Because if you pay attention to the news, more schools have been speaking up about how they've been having absent kids, and when they call and check on the families and say, "Why your kids absent?" The whole time it's just because the mom's homeless. How is that not a problem? No kid, if it's law for the kids to be at school, if it's law for every kid to have a right to education, no child whatsoever should be missing school due to homelessness. But it's just been happening more. They pray and hope that they can blame the parents too. But when parents are reaching out for assistance, resources, and help to prevent homelessness to begin with, or to get out of homelessness, and it's scarce and rare because the president is cutting all the programs, then what are the homeless families to do? It is getting wild out here, dude. Come on, Jay. Come on. Get up there and sit down. Get up there and sit down, baby. Here. I just want to be one of those in the future. When judgment comes upon the world, the universe knows that not only I speculated on these type of questions to myself, I asked them publicly, I asked them loudly. I might not go on some loud, lone protest about it, but it don't take much, you know what I'm saying, to be a voice about things that matter. Because as long, like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's like something is happening where the things that they actually want to keep buried is being exposed. And the more that just as much energy as they put into burying it, It's just as much energy that's going to be matched to expose it. And people not even having to talk about it no more. Things are just starting to transpire. Things are starting to happen to other people's lives that expose it. It's so stupid. And this new trend of stepping on those who are willing to speak about it, to stand in the front line. Because what are you saying? You can't speak on real matters unless you're perfect. Because ain't nobody that. You might stay in a better neighborhood. You might make a little more money, but you're still not perfect. And I don't mind reminding people of that. If you were perfect, you would move, you would be living a better life, making more money and all that, still concerned about communities that are suffering. I mean, you might look closer to perfect with that kind of mindset, right? But it's like they too busy playing what's that game at the carnival where you hit them with the hammer when the heads pop up? I forgot the name of that game. What is it called? Not bobblehead. I think it's called whack a head or something like that. Every time a head pop up, you gotta hit it with the hammer. But that's a carnival game, not a game people should be out here playing with people's lives. But it's happening. But when they said that that mother whose kids had jumped the pregnant lady had been evicted just weeks or months prior to that incident, it told you a lot. That people be angry and willing to tear down the next person who still got their apartment trying to take care of their kids just because they lost something. People didn't want to believe this is real. Well, believe it. You know what I'm saying? If y'all think that was just a random incident of another hood story, you're crazy. And it just looks weak. You know, most kids understand when a woman is pregnant because their own mom has several kids. You see? So it's just like, they don't have a heart to sit there and jump on another woman because they don't like her kids while she got a baby in her tummy. And just because a woman pregnancy could be showing doesn't mean that every woman that's not showing is not pregnant. That's the thing. Keep your hands off of women. Because you might just be attacking an innocent life too. You gonna look at her and say, oh, well, she didn't look pregnant. That don't mean she wasn't. From a teenage age woman to a grown woman to an elderly woman. How does that not mean she's not pregnant? Because you think you can just look at a woman and tell she's pregnant. Man, this world is getting out of control. It's so sad, and it's almost like people sit here and cast chaos over these children, over these students. They probably do it at the schools. I don't know where it's more violent, the schools or the communities or the homes. But I know you can't blame it on just one place no more. Because they say it didn't happen at the school, but they weren't too far from the school when they jumped this lady. Kids, y'all. Like middle school kids. Here. Now more people are willing to believe maybe it is the music. Maybe it is the stuff on TV. Maybe it is TikTok. I said a long time ago, they just feel like they be coming for me, coming against what I say. And then worser things happen. And it shows you that it's bigger than me. You know, it shows you where the distractions are. You're too busy coming for people who are willing to put their life on the line to see changes happen in the world. You coming for them people. So if you putting all your energy and time into them people, when stories like this, pregnant women getting jumped or ladies being set on fire on the train is happening, everybody's wondering where the mayor was or what they've been doing in the town to try to make it more safe. You see? What are they busy decorating their Christmas trees? Come on, Chicago. But like I said, for many years, that place of all places has needed some help out there. Maybe Mr. Trump was just one of the first presidents to actually even consider trying to put a little work into getting more order established in that city. And then people got mad at him and said, "No, don't send the military out here. Chicago don't need no help." Obviously they do. Cause even I think her baby daddy made a public statement. He was mad too. Come on, man. You just thought there was a black woman who didn't have a man somewhere that cared. You know that old narrative. Cause God forbid there's one that's someone somewhere that cares. They come after him too for caring about his black kids, for caring about the black mother of his children. Maybe more men should speak up about it. That's what the devil really mad about. I feel like there's a powerful, powerful truth that's going to come out of the mouth of men one day, because they are greatly attacked as well. You know what I'm saying? They be set up and attacked behind the scenes because somebody want them to stay away from their own kids. Like a lot of these men, people don't understand the day they become fathers, bro, whether it's of multiple children or one child, they now have responsibilities. They now have accountability to take. They now have different sets of priorities to worry about. They don't have time to be in the streets and trying to make each and every family member happy and try to let the whole family ride their backs. And now they have their own children. You got a lot of families doing it. They want them men glued to them, not their kids, not their baby mothers. Baby mothers ain't out here taking care of these kids alone uh because they're always a problem. Because what are all mothers supposed to do? Just submit? You submit to your husbands, not to just some man you got pregnant by. That man might have 10 other women somewhere and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And now you in the interrogation room trying to give details about what you knew about the man when you really knew nothing. How you gonna know all about a man who put you last? How would you know all the details of his life? He put you and your kids last. Why would you know anything about him but that? That's not something you can pretend. Because they say a man that really want to be in his kid's life, you can't stop him. Why am I bringing this up? Because where was a man at all the day that that pregnant woman and her son was being jumped? Don't y'all know that young man is probably going to be scarred for life because it's incidents that transpire just like these that begin to shape the mind of a young black man at an early age. He'll never forget the day that a group of black kids jumped on him and his helpless mother who was pregnant. That's just one example, but then you got other children who just witness feeling helpless when their mothers are being attacked. It's an old narrative. It's a dead narrative. It's dying more and more every day. But yeah, you got a lot of scarred and bruised and broken adults today because they felt helpless at a young early age when it came to somebody they love. Because evil people feel like that's how they take your power. You know how you take a child's power, whose power is still growing, make them feel helpless against helping their own mother. And if it's a young black man, that's really doing damage. You know what I'm saying? It's like you already trying to set him up to be very angry, very violent himself. Very what are you teaching him? One day that young man will have a wife and a family of his own, because I saw that it said supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but allegedly Oprah donated $1 million to their family for what happened to them publicly. But my thing is, I'm not being a hater when I say this, but why not donate $1 million to every black family who has been publicly humiliated? Why not? Then they got a GoFundMe posted. If I do find it, y'all, I'm going to post a link in the comment section of this stream. I already saw it, so I just have to re-find it and post it here. But on the You Will Make It TV channel, because I do believe that family is going to be okay. I've said this many, many times before. A lot of times, the people are not bad people. They're just in terrible environments. They're in the worst environments they can be in. And it might look like the jungle, like out there in Chicago. When you're stuck and trapped in project and housing, that's the thing too about transitional housing. The point of it is for you to transition. Why do you think it's called transitional housing? The point of it is for you to one day transition into a better housing agreement, housing situation, housing environment. Nobody should be stuck in the same housing projects for 10 or 15 years. That makes no sense, but you're calling a program transitional housing. Make it make sense. Then they get great pride and joy taking it a step further, claiming that they should be able to control, dictate what their livelihoods are if they don't expose it. But let me try to get the words out. You want to dictate and control what kind of people they are while they're on the transitional housing programs. So, in other words, you're saying that as long as people abide by your rules and do your program exactly how you say they should do it, it's guaranteed that their housing predicament is going to change. But we know that that's BS because you got too many families that's been on the same freaking program in the same housing projects for 10 and 15 years. So where do they have an opportunity to save money? If you in a housing projects and your rent is only $50 a month, you should be able to save money and get out of that predicament in no time, even if you're a single mother, right? But don't worry, single mothers. You Will Make It TV understands because since they can't stop you from making money or saving money, they have to set up domestic violent type situations because that's also another avenue of instability that knocks a lot of women off track. So much off track that they end up in the same cycle. Like they might even date a new man and he's abusive too. Talking about maybe it's you. If all the men keep abusing you, I'm tired of y'all blaming women for why your sons are abusive. That's crazy. If I had a son, he would know better. Behind my back or in my face. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna pretend you the perfect son in my face, but behind my back, I'm hearing you out here beating on women and dragging them through the mud. I would feel disgraced as a mother, like I failed, because they quick to tell single black mothers that they failed their children. But the men, they still out here using them for their money. That's why they don't say nothing about the daddies. But it's always took two to tango. Ain't no child out here was just made because the mother was a hoe. I'm not willing to believe that. Obviously, the man is a hoe too. You lay down with a hoe, what does that make you? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna spare none because I feel like this is why, why else would you try to silence people who speak on these matters? You want it to continue to go on. It's like it's true. You put them in these housing programs. That's like saying you guarantee that mother that her life is going to change as long as she obeys your rules. Because I've seen women obey every rule on the list, and it was still so many things around her environment that kept her trapped. If you can just make one child out of her four kids seem problematic, and now she got to focus more on that child and their behavioral problems versus working 40 hours a week and saving money, wouldn't you say that's taken away from her opportunities? That's why people need to leave people children alone and pregnant mothers too. How are you benefiting a family? If you're not going to help them, that's one thing because they say it takes a village. But if you're not helping them, why would you be somewhere trying to help them lose anything? And yes, that's happening to a lot of black families out here. Unfortunately, minority families, Low income families and impoverished families. Nobody should be impoverished. I don't believe in it. Not if I used to, I just don't. I can see through it now. How does that make sense? You send caseworkers around these women, housing caseworkers and stuff. Well, they need to pay more attention. The caseworkers do in training. There are mothers that be out here trying. There's single mothers that have defeated the odds too, 3, 4, 5 times. I said, why they don't be sharing the stories of the women who actually overcame Section 8 and started there, but what are they doing now? You know what I'm saying? You never sharing those stories, but you want to hurry up and show that a pregnant mother got jumped by some kids. Because had your housing programs and projects been as good as housing help for people as you say it is, why are so many people trapped there? Why are so many people ending up in prison just because their environment was the housing projects? Housing is housing. Anything that keep you from sleeping on the street, that's housing. Just to clarify what I mean. Um, and then it's crazy. Like some of these people, housing arrangements is prison before they even get there. So people doing double prison sentences out here. Them and their kids. The kids was just born. They didn't ask to be here. But their mom is trusting a housing program. And the housing program like prison. Then you want them to get in trouble and go to prison too. That's why it's important that people speak up. Like, what are your situation? What is the situation in these housing programs? You know what I'm saying? What be going on?